Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to What Do You Want to Watch, the Explosive Network's premier media podcast. Every fortnight, we get together to talk about movies, TV, and online content. Help you answer the question, do we want memes dictating the movie box office? Not really, but it looks like that's where it's going. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Banana! What did?
Yep, we'll get into that later in the episode. On today's episode, we'll be discussing what's in our watch history. We're talking about some film and TV news, giving some thumbs to trailers, and talking about this week's top 3. First off, let's cover some things that we've already got other content out there for. Of course, Thor: Love and Thunder, the next entry in the MCU, the big movie of last week, came out. We've got a spoiler cast up on all new Marvel casts, Explosion Network's MCU podcast, the number one Australian-made Marvel podcast on the internet, as far as I'm aware. Dylan, what do you think of Thor: Love and Thunder?
Very funny, but wastes the story potential by not having any dramatic weight to any of the character or story beats. But there's a lot of fun, and it's just got a lot of laughs. The humor completely undermines everything, but if that's something you don't care about or that sounds great, then that's fine. But obviously for me, I would have preferred an even mix. But I still had fun watching it, and I still enjoyed the characters and the jokes.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more. I didn't mind the non-stop humor to a certain degree for like maybe the first half, where it's just straight up comedy over anything else. I feel like there is dramatic moments. I think there's great characters. I think Christian Bale's really interesting as Gore the God Butcher. It's great to see Natalie Portman back in the MCU, like getting to be Thor, the mighty Thor from the comics. Kicks some ass, look buff, have massive biceps. Chris Hemsworth's funny, The Guardians show up for a little bit, that's cool. We get more Korg and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think if you liked, in my opinion, if you liked Ragnarok and the humor of Ragnarok, you'll like this. But well, you have to see for yourself, because how have you found the reaction to the movie online in the days since?
I think people actually like it. There's a lot. So I don't recall seeing any dislike for Ragnarok, really.
Yeah.
I feel like I was on the outskirts, and I didn't even dislike it. Like I felt like I was on the very outskirts by saying it was just fine, and I felt like an outlier. Whereas for this movie, I actually don't feel like I'm in the very worst scenario, because I see a lot of people straight up just saying it's terrible.
The middle.
Yeah, I feel like I've fallen in the middle, because I don't think it's actually bad. I just think it's, again, I say this every time so people know I enjoyed it. I did enjoy watching it. Very funny. Just have a lot of issues with the story and that sort of stuff. But I've seen other people straight up just being like, this movie is terrible. So, yeah, I don't feel like I'm actually stuck on the bad end of the stick for this one.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty scathing reviews of the film, which I don't think are justified. But I think, like, a general anger with the MCU, I guess, at the moment, with lacking a clear direction of where all the films are going. And where this universe is going, which
that's a different thing. I don't feel like that affects the movie.
I don't, but I feel like it adds to it
to a degree. But I still feel like I mean, at least I feel like I judge every movie just on
its own merit,
its own terms to a degree. Yeah. Unless you're Infinity War Part 1, you know what I mean? Like
that's fair, but I don't know. Yeah, some of the action's been a bit. Some people really hate this movie. Even saying that everybody is half-assing it in the movie, so which I don't agree with. So yeah, go check it out for yourself.
I saw some tweet that said Tessa Thompson was really bored on set, which I was like, I don't agree with. That's like, I'm fine with people like hating it. Like I don't care. Like at the end of the day, that was the one tweet I saw where I was like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she was just playing like that's how the character.
That's the character.
Valkyrie just she's cool, She's
she's trying to play.
I don't feel like
back,
it's. Yeah, I don't feel like. Yeah, that was the one where I was like, all right, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know. The other interesting thing I think is that apparently there was a 4-hour cut of the movie.
Fucking hell.
With who was it? Lena Headey, Jeff Goldblum, and Peter Dinklage were meant to be in the movie, but they all got cut. Apparently, Lena Headey is getting sued because she got cut from the movie, and is not getting paid as much. But you know, are we ever going to get an extended edition of Thor: Love and Thunder?
No, because
they've got Spider-Man super extended cut or whatever it is coming out to cinemas later this year.
No, not if any of the cut characters. Because the problem between that and Spider-Man is, I guarantee anything added in the Spider-Man's like it doesn't wholly change the story or bits and pieces or whatever. It's just more scenes with Spider. I bet you it's mostly just more scenes with Spider-Man or whatever. Whereas I feel like they've cut a bunch of characters that may or may not change the direction of the story and stuff like that. So then it's like, what's canon? Like, what's the actual true MCU version?
What's the true
story?
version?
Like,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Maybe in like a few years when we've moved past it, we can like. It's already been cemented that this is the canon. Like we can. When they set up all these multiverses and they said this is a multiverse version of Thor: Love and Thunder.
They're like this version, Thor: Love and Thunder extended cut set in Earth 2267, whereas the original cut set in 818.
616, yeah.
616, yeah.
According to no guarantees.
According
to Jake Gyllenhaal.
No, Rachel McAdams, right?
Does she say 616 as well?
I think she says 616.
I actually do need to see Doctor Strange again. I'll get into it.
Twice.
I might as well bring it up here. I watched Doctor Strange, the Assembled, the making of thing on Disney Plus, hosted by Bruce Campbell, doing his best what's the Unsolved Mysteries host impression. Very fun. He points out that talks about his relationship with Sam Raimi and like their whole history. Talks about being a character who lose their hands and that kind of stuff. It also points out Sam Raimi's car is in like all his movies apparently.
Sorry, didn't know that.
Yeah, there's like I think it's the one that Ben Parker like drives in Spider-Man. It's like in all his movies, including his Western, in which he took off like all the like the chassis and everything, like or just had the chassis and like put a wagon over the top of it so it could be in the movie. So yeah, that was quite an interesting look. Quite enjoyable. The only thing is like there's two members of the Illuminati that they don't talk about, which was a bit annoying. But maybe they just didn't have footage of that day. Is
that the one you'd want them to talk the most about?
I guess it depends on your point of view.
Yeah, well, come on. I feel like
it's the fan casted one and the one whose head does not. Whose loses part of their face.
Okay, right.
Yeah, everybody else they have like a mention and talk about. So yeah. But that's enjoyable. So check that out on Disney Plus. Of course, Thor: Love and Thunder in cinemas will be on Disney Plus in like 90 days, I guess. If you want to wait that long, if you don't want to go give them your money. Dylan, you shocked the world with the return of Bevan World.
That's true. Really shook up. Variety was covering it, I think.
I believe so, yeah. I don't know. It might have been deleted since because of such low traffic. They were trying to save space.
But it was there for a moment, just believe me. So Westworld is back, and so is Bevan World. Me and Nick didn't do a podcast for the last season. Unfortunately, because of COVID and stuff, we cancelled it before the season went off, and then Nick hasn't been around. Of course, you used to listen to him on this podcast if you listened like a year ago. But he's back. He's doing Bevan World with me, so we have been talking about Westworld week by week over on that podcast. With 2 episodes, or 3 by the time you're listening to this, but 2 episodes as of recording of the new season, which I'm very much enjoying. I think me and Nick both agree it feels like the closest to season 1 the show's felt since then. So even though it's now set like we're in the real world and everything, but as far as a show structure goes, as far as the constant red herrings and not really understanding anything that's going on, it very much feels like season 1. A lot of setup, a lot of like mysterious stuff happening. Last season I did enjoy. That's a season a lot of people didn't like, but we both said we both agreed that as different as season 3 was, we both enjoyed it for what it was, which is fine because the thing was, of course, like again I'm just spoiling season 1 or 2 to a degree, but come on, we're in the 3rd season, the 4th season, sorry, where you spend 2 seasons in the park. It's, this cowboy thing. When they get out, it's like the show's going to feel a lot different in the real world, and it does so. But yeah, I think the way they're going, I'm hoping that they've only got I would sort of love for this to be the last season because there's only so much I feel this story can get dragged on. But I'm hoping next season they'll announce season 5 will be the last sort of thing the way we're going. But yeah, lots of interesting things happening. Neither of us really know what the hell's going on because there's just a lot of confusing elements happening. But that's fine. That's the show. That's why it's fun to talk about on weekly podcasts where we just try and be like, what's this mean? Dunno. Cool. Yep, me neither. That's good shit. Yeah, so no, check out Bevan World if you're watching Westworld.
All right, yeah, check it out, Bevan World. If you're following Westworld, we also just released a spoiler cast for season 3 of The Boys. Of course, The Boys, the massive TV show where there's a bunch of superheroes, but they all suck, and then there's a bunch of vigilantes called The Boys who don't suck, but are pretty shitty themselves. Dylan, what did you think of the latest season of The Boys?
I was about to say, yeah, but they suck too. So, bad guys take down bad guys, or not so much. Nearly bad guys take down bad guys. Arseholes take down bad guys. So Boys is Boys. It's good. Shock factor has turned up to 20 this season. I feel there's a lot of stuff that just from the outset of the first episode, you're like, yep, that's not something I expected to see ever in a television show, but here we are. There's a few things I didn't like, primarily about just certain slowdown of the plot or just the general direction of the show, and Homelander taking a very long time to get to where he needs to go. And we did discuss that on that podcast and maybe the mistake it was to have him as just in the show from the get-go, sort of the reason why we're here. But still very much enjoyed it. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens. The characters were just fun to spend time with. So yeah, still good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Obviously, fantastic satire during the season of politics and different viral moments over the past few years. I feel like Homelander, although I kind of agree that maybe he should have been saved or not been at complete odds with the Boys this entire time. I think he's having an interesting growth this season, and we definitely leave him off in a very interesting place at the end of the season. All the boys get Huey and Butcher get a chance to do some superpower shit this season, which is all fun. But yeah, there's a lot of blood, guts, and snarky comments. So yeah, if you've enjoyed The Boys so far, you're still going to enjoy it in season 3. So I would recommend checking that out. Of course, it is playing on Prime Video. All 8 episodes are available now. Dylan, you finally got the chance to see a movie before it's scheduled to come out in cinemas. Craziness.
Crazy. All I had to do was pirate it.
Nope. Dylan, you went out. You got to go to an advanced screening of The Black Phone.
Is it called The?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, this whole time I thought it was just called Black Phone. What the fuck?
I'm pretty sure it's The.
Well, The Black Phone is not that important, but just confused.
The Black Phone.
The Black Phone, latest movie from Scott Derrickson, which was supposed to come out, I feel ages ago, and then kept getting delayed. But very, very good. Definitely a must-watch for any horror thriller fans. That the setup is as such. If you haven't seen the trailers, it is 80s. I can't remember the year, but that time period. And there's a kidnapper going around picking up kids, leaving black balloons behind, and they start. He's nicknamed the Grabber, and all the it's a little American town. Everyone's get home on time, kids, and all this sort of stuff. And anyway, the one, of course, the main character kid gets grabbed. He's sort of not locked up, chained up or anything, but he's put in this basement, and there's a black phone in there. And what he discovers is that the phone, which isn't plugged into anything, it rings, and he answers it, and it is the other kids who have been kidnapped. They're dead, obviously, but they are able to talk to him from the grave, if you will, and they start giving him advice and hints on how to potentially escape and outdo the kidnapper, played by Ethan Hawke, who is very, very good and very, very creepy. Although he's not in the movie as much as maybe you'd think going into it, especially based off the trailers and everything. He's it's quite interesting because the way he's I don't want to spoil everything, but his villain's very much like he's just a little bit weird. Like he just brings down food and all this sort of stuff. He's waiting for the kid to try and escape, and then that's when he's gonna like use that as a psychological reason for why he has to do what he has to do to like punish the kid for or whatever. But as long as the main character doesn't play into his game and sort of tries to outwit him, he's not really in the movie as much as you may think. Because the other character is his sister, who's the star of the movie as far as I'm concerned, and the reason you should watch it. She is fucking hilarious. Who has like sixth sense, I guess. Like she has dreams of things that, you know, have happened, haven't happened, and all this sort of stuff. And she's dealing with their abusive father, who tells her not to talk about their dreams and stuff because the cops come and ask her stuff, and she like lets loose some details that the police never reveal, and it's because it's from her dreams, and then all this other stuff. So she's trying to like seek out a way to help track down her brother, and you have these like cross storylines and stuff. I think it's very good. I feel like if you like the like any of these sort of like Stranger Things, whatever, like any of these like modern or classic or older or newer versions of, you know, kid groups, and like especially the 80s time period and stuff like that in a horror movie / thriller. It's not really a horror movie. It's like a crime thriller. I don't think there's like maybe one jump scare in the whole thing. I don't think there's. Yeah, I've thought of one. There's one jump scare in the whole movie. Otherwise, it's just like a little bit creepy and stuff like that. But it's mostly a crime thing at the same time. So I would very much suggest watching it. I really enjoyed both the kid characters. It's got an interesting story, and I like the way it all played out. And Ethan Hawke is, as much as he's not in it as much as maybe you want, he is very fucking creepy when he comes in and he's wearing these weird masks and jabbering on about weirdo. He has a weird voice he puts on and everything. So yeah, no, very good. I very much enjoyed it.
Cool. So that's in cinemas now. You should go. Oh no, it's actually in cinemas. So this is in cinemas 21st of July. So you know, still a little while to wait. I think there's probably advanced screenings. I think 15th through the 17th of July. So you can go check it out in cinemas then. I watched the new Sundance Darling that came to Apple TV Plus. Cha Cha Real Smooth, the latest film from Cooper Raiff, starring Cooper Raiff and Dakota Johnson. Cooper Raiff plays a university graduate who's just come home after university, doesn't have any clear plans for what to do with his future. He escorts his brother to his friend's bar mitzvah, strikes up a relationship with a young mother and her daughter, Lola, who is autistic. In the process, he because of his he's just a party dude, I guess, kind of. He starts making everybody excited about partying at the bar mitzvah, whereas before they're all just kind of standing around doing nothing while the DJ plays music. They're all just sitting at tables. So then he proceeds to get hired by different mothers to come party start at their bar mitzvahs. I found it really enjoyable. It's not going to be revolutionary in any way. It's just a very sweet story about this guy learning about relationships and figuring out life and how about love. And I think his relationship with Dakota Johnson's really great. I think the young actress who plays Lola, Vanessa Burkhart, it's fantastic. I believe this is her debut project. Just very sweet and it's almost unrealistic to a point where he's very smart and says all the right things all the time. So there's that. I feel like it definitely doesn't fall straight into different stereotypes. Dakota Johnson's character has a fiance who could easily be an antagonistic type of character. but doesn't necessarily go in that direction. Leslie Mann plays his mother. She's fantastic. Is like this doting mother. And he's also got a younger brother who he's got this really fantastic relationship with it, and I think it's really, really great. Of course, last year's Sundance darling that Apple TV picked up was Coda, which went on to win the Academy Award. I doubt this is going to do the same thing, but I would recommend checking it out on Apple TV Plus if you've got Apple TV Plus. Yeah. And now I definitely want to go back and watch his first film, which I've been putting off forever, so I might just have to chuck the $5 or something. No, it's still VOD, so I might just have to chuck that $5-6 down. So
yeah, because I'm gonna watch this. Obviously, we talked about a trailer like a month ago, or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch this. I still just haven't got a chance, but yeah,
no, I haven't got the chance. Also on Apple TV Plus, I watched the new series Loot, starring Maya Rudolph, as well as MJ Rodriguez, Nate Faxon, Joel Kim Booster, Ron Funches, in which Maya Rudolph plays the wife of like a massive, billionaire. Like it's imagine like the Jeff Bezos situation, but Maya Rudolph plays his divorced wife. So there's this multi-billionaire guy played by Adam Scott. He's been cheating on her. They get a divorce. She's got billions of dollars. She doesn't know what to do with her life. She just ends up partying and like doing crazy shit until she gets a call from MJ Rodriguez, who plays the head of her own charity foundation, who tells her, "Hey, you need to stop doing this crazy shit because it like reflects badly on us." So then she starts to do work at this foundation, like helping with homelessness in Los Angeles and that kind of stuff. But of course, being from a very fish out of water element where she is being obscenely rich for a very long period of time and doesn't know how normal people do shit. Like, hey, I'm gonna surprise trip to Miami, guys. We're all going to the other side of the country on a day's notice. I'm sure you don't have anything to do with the rest of your lives. You people with normal kids, normal lives and kids and all these sort of things. I found it really enjoyable. It's like kind of crazy and over the top. She's got like celebrity chef David Chang as her own personal chef. She's got a ridiculously impressive mansion that she lives in. Like, clearly that's where all the budget's gone for this. Because it looks crazy. I guess you have to suspend the part of disbelief. It's like, if she really invested in this charity, why doesn't she just give a majority of the money that she's got to this charity? That's the thought that keeps running into my mind. But other than that, it's quite enjoyable. Run Funches and Kim Jong Booster are a fun comedy duo who are kind of growing a friendship in the background. Where Joel Kim Booster plays Maya Rudolph's long-term assistant. So he's also used to a certain lifestyle of like being able to do all these crazy party stuff and like have spa dates and that kind of stuff. And now is having to come with her to these like meetings about charity and stuff. So I'm finding it really interesting, really funny. There is an episode in which she starts doing interviews, and she from like 60 Minutes and all these other places wanting to interview about her charity work and like her divorce and stuff. And she's like, on the day, she just cancels them all and says, "Hey, I've decided there's only one interview that I'm going to do because I feel like I succeed at doing this, and it's Hot Ones." And she does not do well on that. She proceeds to get very drunk on beer, trying to cool herself down from the wings, and like gives it to her.
I think I saw this going around.
I think the clip was going around.
The clip was going around, yeah.
Very
People
funny.
was just sharing it as it was saying it was Maya Rudolph.
Yeah. No, it's not Maya Rudolph. But it is pretty funny. So check out Loot on Apple TV Plus. I think last episode we talked about The Princess, a new film coming to Disney Plus through like Hulu and that, in which Joey King plays a princess who has to fight her way out of a castle, to say a kingdom is being seized. She's being forced to marry Dominic Cooper's character.
Prince Charming.
As you do. It's been interesting to see some of the reaction to this prior to watching this, where the movie The Raid has been brought up a fair bit. And I can kind of see the comparisons. It's kind of like a reverse raid, where she is the princess at the top of the tower, and she has to get to her family at the bottom. But it's not as good as The Raid. Nowhere near as good as The Raid. It does throw you straight into the action. It opens with her waking up and no other information, and then the information about what happened is slowly passed out in flashbacks and that kind of stuff. I think it's fine. Some of the action is pretty cool. The acting is over the top and cheesy, which you could kind of expect. Some of the CG's pretty obvious. I think the concept is cool. I don't think the execution quite lives up to it. Yeah, it is very female empowerist. Too heavy-handed with the female empowerism. But, if it's only 90 minutes long, so if you've got 90 minutes you need to kill, this isn't the worst way you could spend it. So yeah, The Princess on Disney Plus. That's a thing. Also on Disney Plus, they just released Baymax, a new series of shorts featuring Baymax, the robot, the medical robot from Big Hero 6, in which he goes around San Francisco giving his medical need to different people. Very cute, very enjoyable, 6 shorts. They're only 8 minutes each. They're all trying to help people with different problems, most of them not wanting Baymax's help, and him kind of forcing himself onto them, which is a little bit weird, but it is quite nice. Interestingly, I think the most interesting thing, I think 3 or 4 episodes in, they do an episode where he's at a school, and this girl is having her first period, and it's him talking to her about menstruation and all these other things that I'm that's pretty interesting for a kid's cartoon.
That's why I'm not watching this show. Among many other things, it's fucking outrageous, Ash. That's what it is.
Wow.
Do you know there's a scene I saw on Twitter?
Yeah.
Blew some wind right up my pipe, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
There was a supermarket scene where there's a gay couple in the background, and I think one of them may have had the LGBTQ plus fucking flag.
No, I think what really irked them is there was a person wearing a trans emblem on there. A trans man wearing a trans flag on his chest, telling Baymax what what feminine hygiene products he should buy.
That's fucked. That's it. We should picket Disney.
If you're bad at detecting sarcasm, Dylan is being very sarcastic. I think it was really sweet.
That was a bunch of outrage I did see online, though.
It is real.
Yes.
It's way over the top. They should be more concerned about Baymax doing medical scans without people's permission and that kind of stuff. That's pretty invasive, yeah. But yeah, very cute. It's enjoyable. Kind of makes me want to go rewatch Big Hero 6 because I haven't watched that in a while. So yeah. Yeah, so they're very short. Check that out on Disney Plus. That brings us to our unfortunately recurring segment, films Dylan can finally watch.
Finally. At last.
It's about time.
It's been 84 years.
A segment that's happened so much I've just added an intro bit.
What the fuck is the intro bit?
You'll have to listen to the episode to find out.
Okay.
All right. Dylan, you finally were able to watch Robert Eggers' latest film, The Northman.
I did. Very good. It was exactly what I sort of wanted it to be. It is just I think, and I wasn't surprised, but I feel like if anyone doesn't like this movie, if someone hadn't watched a Robert Eggers movie before, and they go into this and they're like, this is shit or whatever.
Sold out.
I feel like it's because it's realistic and not like Hollywood Vikings. If that, because the thing is, so for people who don't know this movie, the plot is that there's family, and then Ethan Hawke plays like this king or whatever, and then he gets betrayed by his brother. So then the main character, who's played by Alexander Skarsgård, he is like escapes as a kid, and he swears revenge on his uncle to get revenge for his father, and like he has this whole thing. He's like, I will.
He also
avenge
plans
you,
to save his
father.
mother, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, I'll avenge you, father. I'll save you, mother. I'll avenge you, whatever he says. So then you jump ahead in time after this, and I think this is like the one scene where I'm like, man, this would have turned some people off. I feel because the movie sets the character up as a very
Heroic.
well, yeah, you at least feel sorry for him, right? As a kid, you feel sorry for this character. And then they jump ahead in time. Now he's an adult, adult Alexander Skarsgård. He's a Viking now. And as they did, the Vikings go on this massive raiding party where they go into this whole place, like slaughter everyone nearly, chuck all the kids and women into like a hut and burn them all alive. And you're like, well, I thought this guy was the good guy. But the thing is, he is still the guy you're supposed to be rooting for. However, because it's a historically accurate movie, that is what they did. And I feel like a lot of Viking portrayal in media has portrayed Vikings a lot differently to how they actually were. And that is how they went. So I feel like that's a factor. And then afterwards, it's like the movie slows down quite a lot. And it plays into a lot of, especially in like Western countries or stuff, I guess we're more used to typical portrayals of gods and men and stuff like that. So be that God, Jesus, or more Thor, that sort of stuff you've seen. Not the way they portray people's beliefs and gods and stuff in this, which again is, as far as we're aware, this includes sacrificial offerings and all these other things. You know, like things. There's like a lot of elements. This is a very dark movie at times, but also like just as far as like historical. Like, so for that, I really like it. I think it's quite interesting how it plays into all these different elements. I think Alexander Skarsgård gives a great performance. I think it's like a very heavy performance. And then everyone in the movie is great. I don't feel like anyone's bad. And there's a lot of characters I just wish we had more time. Like fucking what's his fuck where he's at the start of the movie. Oh fuck, what's his name? Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe, where he's in it for like 5 minutes, just being the jester in this court jester just off his fucking face. That was quite entertaining. But yeah, all the fight scenes are really good. Like combat stuff, which is good because Eggers hasn't like directed that stuff before. Like this is his first foray into anything with sort of combat of any sort. I loved the showdown in the movie, which I won't spoil, but I love that. I think it's shot really, really well. I think that there's like a real like the way it all plays out is just so, I don't even know how to put it. It's like, it is like picture perfect, like combination of epic and like fantasy like, but like while also being rooted in this realism and whatever else among gods and men and all this stuff, especially where they have the fight. I was like, this is like, but no, I thought it was, so a lot of long takes too, beautiful scenery, location shots, choreographed, even there's like that shot at the start before they go on the shot. Yeah, a very long take at the start where they do like the dance and the wolf screams before they go like on the raid, and all that sort of stuff. It's just really cool because it's all in one take. And I very, very good. I loved it. It was what I wanted it to be.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you liked it finally. All right, let's move into.
I didn't choose to take this long to watch it.
All right, let's move into the mandatory Netflix segment of the show. Of course, Stranger Things Volume 2 came out. We've got a spoiler cast up on this podcast feed. Of course, the final 2 mega-sized epic episodes brought the season to the end. But Dylan, do you want to share your overall thoughts of Volume 2 of Stranger Things Stranger Things 4 Volume 2?
You got it. Very good. I think the only problem that people would have is that obviously it's quite long. You've got a 90-minute episode, you've got a 2-hour, 20-minute episode. I think it's actually an 80-minute episode and a 2-hour, 20-minute, but whatever. But it is lengthy. All of these episodes are lengthy. I feel like in retrospect, there's some elements of this that I feel like could have been tightened up as a season as a whole. However, that last episode, I think all things as it is justifies its 2-hour 20 length. At least it did to me. I like the way everything plays out, especially towards the end where we actually get a season finale that isn't like, hey, things are sort of pseudo reset, ready to introduce a new villain next season and go from there. It's like very much finally has a like Empire Strikes Back sort of like, oh my god, ending. So then you can lead straight into the next season, which is going to be the last one. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, I've very much enjoyed it. I would say, I think my current ranking is 1, 3, 4, 2. That's
fair. I also enjoyed it very much. I think the last episode could have been split in two, but I think the Duffer Brothers have come out since and said, hey, we didn't cut it because we spent all this time like building up the tension. We didn't want to like break it. That's what I said to you about, yeah. And you're like, yeah, but you'd start next episode straight away, but no, I just don't think it's very consumer friendly, that's all. But, that's fine. Whatever they want to do. And I think, if you want to pause, you can just pause. So, Netflix is one of the best at, like, being able to get back to where you were playing from. So, really fantastic. Great performances by a lot of the cast, especially someone like Noah Schnapp, who hasn't necessarily had a lot to do this season, but, like, gives some of his best work since probably season 1 in this. The kid who plays Lucas, he gets like a shining moment as well. It's a character who's kind of been like a side character a lot of the last few seasons. Yeah, and it kind of all comes together, like you said, very Emperor Strikes Back ending where, they survived, but they didn't necessarily win. But yeah, I would recommend, checking it out. Of course, Stranger Things, massive thing. As I also predicted, season 5 confirmed for 2024. So it's going to be a bit of a wait, but hopefully it'll all be perfectly tied up, and we'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. I also watched the teen rom-com Hello, Goodbye, and Everything in Between, starring Talia Ryder and Jordan Fisher as a young couple who, she's like her mother has been through a lot of like bad relationships, so she's like, I'm not going to tie myself down until I'm in college, and then, I want to get to college. That's the most important thing in my life. I want to worry about my career. Everything else comes later. First party during high school, she meets Jordan Fisher's character, and he's like, really wants to get with her. So he agrees to a pact in which they'll just break up as soon as they're going to go off to college. They won't. So then we cut forward to their last day together. And he's getting cold feet. He doesn't want to follow through on this pact. He's in love with her. And they kind of go through this final mega date of like reliving their whole relationship. They flashback to different points about the relationship and that kind of stuff. It's enjoyable. I think the two leads are very charming. So that kind of carries it along. It's not like super revelatory or anything. They both kind of make very selfish decisions during the film and that kind of stuff. So they got conflict, but it kind of resolves the way you expect these kind of things to resolve. So I found it pretty good, but I don't think you would have liked it, Dylan. You didn't have high hopes.
I'm not planning on watching it, so
no. But yeah, it's a good time. All right, that's everything that's in our watch history. Let's move into some film news, and on the back of the Stranger Things, we've got a whole bunch of different things in the news about the Duffer Brothers. Who needs to rest? Not the Duffer Brothers for sure. The duo have only just finished post-production on Stranger Things 4. They're about to start work on the show's 5th final season. In the meantime, they're also launching their own production jingle in the form of Upside Down Pictures, taking its name from the creepy blue-lit alternate dimension in their mega popular series. Overseeing the operation is Hilary Leavitt, an executive who has developed Shows like Orphan Black and Ozark. Also working on The Great and Shining Lights. In a statement published by Deadline, the Duffer Brothers said their goal is for Upside Down Pictures to focus on telling stories that take place at their beautiful crossroads where the ordinary meets the extraordinary, where big spectacle coexists with the intimate character work, where heart wins over cynicism. That includes the previously announced Netflix series based on Stephen King and Peter Straub's 1984 novel, The Talisman, which the Duffers have been working on with Steven Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment and Paramount Television, as well as an as yet untitled Stranger Things spin-off show. As well as that, it's been announced they're working on a Stranger Things stage play. Don't know exactly what that's going to be, but that is a thing.
I reckon it'll be a stage play.
Probably.
I reckon it'll be a play on a stage.
On a
based
stage?
on Stranger Things.
Okay, but what does that look like?
I reckon that you have a character and they're trapped in a thing called Upside Down, and then there's a scene where there's like all these lights in the background, and then they like start lighting up and sending a message to that character's mother.
Okay, thanks for this insightful insight. They've also said that for the Stranger Things spin-off show, it's based on an original idea by the Duff brothers, and they've also voiced a desire to pass the baton on to somebody else. Dylan, what can you imagine of a Stranger Things spin-off?
I have no idea. I've been thinking about this since I read this news story earlier in the week, and I have no idea. I have no idea what a Stranger Things spin-off would be, or what I would even want. Like, if you're like, well, what would you want? I have no idea. I actually don't know. I don't want one. Maybe that's my answer. That's actually my right answer. Currently, do I want a Stranger Things spin-off? No, because I can't think of any good potential spin-off ideas that I would care for. Am I against it? No, because I don't like them. They're going to think of something that's more interesting, but I can't think of anything I'd want. So,
yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if there's anything directly tied to Stranger Things that I want, unless they're going in the direction we thought they were originally going to go, in where it's Stranger Things, but it's not really connected to anything we had before. You know, Stranger Things is the title or whatever, but it's a overall title for an anthology-esque spin-off, I guess, or ideas from the Duff brothers that get developed into projects or something like that. Of course, it could be the Robin and Steve spin-off that we all want, of them like just working in the video store, having fun, dealing with relationships. It also could
call
just
it Be Kind Rewind.
yeah, just make it that. It's like, why are you watching this movie? This is terrible. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. It's like you could have some pretty random stuff, like you delve more into like Matthew Modine's character's story of how he came to run that lab, or you know, you could do a mini series about about Wann and his life or whatever. But yeah, I don't think like any of the core original characters will be like at the core of a spin-off show.
No.
I'll just put it like that.
No.
Give me the Murray show where he explained all his crazy idiosyncrasies. I'd be on board with that.
I feel like the thing is, like, for it to be a Stranger Things spin-off, it has to have something to do with, like, you can't just have it be a Robin and like a spin-off, or any like a Murray spin-off, or you know, like it has to have something to do with the Upside Down and the supernatural elements, or else what? It's not Stranger Things, you know?
Why not? What if
I feel
just
like
strange things happen? What if strange things keep happening to me?
Because they're going around twist.
Yeah.
They should call the show Oliver Twist.
Sure. Talisman. We talked about it briefly, I think, in our spoiler cast. Do you like the idea of the Duffer Brothers adapting the Talisman?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned the spoiler cast because that's the book that's being read in the final episode. Yeah, I mean, it's a Super King thing, so like, obviously the source material is good there. Potential for a really good TV show. It's like it's a pretty substantial sized book. It's something you can get a lot of material out of. So It'll be interesting to see them deal with someone else's property, I guess is the thing. Because up until now, it's of course Stranger Things is all theirs. They're playing homage to all these big horror franchises and 80s movies and all this sort of stuff. But, you know, getting handed the keys to someone else's baby, that's a little bit different. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. And they're getting handed the keys to more than one IP, so yeah.
The other thing that the Duffer Brothers and Upside Down Pictures are working on as well is a new live-action series adaptation of the Japanese manga Death Note. News of the deal between Upside Down Pictures and Netflix was announced by Deadline. The outlet notes that Death Note will not be connected to the 2017 live-action film that Netflix produced and will be an entirely new take on the source material, which originally came from writer Tsugumi Oba and Takeshi Obata. There is no words on yet who will be behind the adaptation, save for the Duffer Brothers, who are surely going to be on board as producers. For those who may not be familiar, the wildly popular manga centers on a teen who discovers a black notebook that winds up providing a power over life and death. That power over death is as simple as writing a person's name in that little black book, and that person will be killed. The team becomes drunk on power and aims to cleanse the world. No word yet on casting or anything of that nature, as it sounds like it's in the very early stages of development. Dylan, you're a fan of Death Note, right?
Correct.
You're not a fan of the 2017 live-action film, right?
Correct. However, the early 2005 Japanese live-action films, I don't mind. So,
okay.
Yeah,
Are you a fan of this?
Oh no, we'll see. I assume it'll be terrible because the last attempt was terrible. So, until proven otherwise, I'm not going to get excited over this. No.
So worry, One Piece is going to come out and change all expectations for anime.
Netflix just doesn't have the best run with adapting anime.
Does anybody?
No. That doesn't change Netflix still not having a good right. Like
that's just a wider.
Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who doesn't know anything about Death Note, this seems like.
Wait, hold on. You don't know? Like, you've watched any of Death Note?
I haven't watched any Death Note. Yeah.
The fuck?
I'll put it on the list. I'll watch the live action film.
How much do you know? Do you even know do you know spoilers or like anything or like do you know?
No, I know there's the character called Light, and that's it. And obviously there's the factoids that I just listed off at the start of this bit. News story. Other than that, I don't really know anything. Yeah.
I'm shook. Let's do an anime podcast because this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on the docket. Another what do you want to watch spin-off? We'll bring it back. We'll bring back talking about some anime. Yeah. But yeah, this seems interesting and seems like down the Duffer Brothers alley, I guess. But yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. You know, I think it's like the Duffer Brothers are fans and like, you know, Netflix is just going to let them do whatever they want to do. They're like banking on them as creators, like helping them in the future. So
here's the first problem I have. It should be set in Japan. Like,
well, it doesn't say that it's not set in Japan.
I know,
it won't be, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's an adaptation. You can do whatever you want with adaptation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing. Let's talk about #Gentleminions. So if you hadn't seen this trend, with the release of Minions: The Rise of Gru, apparently there was a social media trend on TikTok.
The Rise of Gru?
Rise of, I don't know.
I was like, oh, okay.
Why can't Drew rise?
House of Mario is just
making social media sensations. Yes,
Hops
Rise of Gru.
Drew fucking grew.
Yes, it made a ton of money in America. It just set the record for biggest Independence Day weekend box office. A lot of that is due to this social media sensation around the Gentleminions, in which a bunch of mid-teen kids dress up in suits and go watch Minions. which
Yep.
started as some sort of social media trend.
It's all over TikTok.
It's all over TikTok. There's all these videos. Helped rake in $202 million over that weekend. Of course, there's a downside where all these kids are screaming during these sessions and like throwing bananas at the screen and like leaving messes everywhere, to the extent where kids in formal wear have been banned from cinemas. But Dylan, is it scary how big social media can potentially have an effect on box office? Why did this work and yet the memes around Morbius not work? This is the question.
Well, it's quite funny because that is Morbius came back because of a meme, but they only brought it back, and we discussed this. They brought it back too late. Like people were making the jokes and everything, and by the time Sony put it back in cinemas, everyone was like, we're on to the next thing. We don't care anymore." Whereas I reckon people, if they put that in cinemas like within the first week of that meme like taken off, I guarantee people would have gone just to make TikToks and stuff to meme about it. Because that's the day and age we live in. So no, it doesn't surprise me that. And again, let's be real. Not all of the money and success of this movie is because of that. Like it's a property that already does well. I'm sure there's just like a bunch of kids and parents.
But it exceeded expectations.
It has a lot. I think a lot of it has to do with this, but it's not like it was going to bomb either way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't mind. I think it's fun. As long as it's only when I read, like, I think it's some bad eggs ruining it for everyone to know. Because I think the people dressing up in suits to do the meme, recording themselves going into the cinema, sitting down, shut the fuck up and watch the movie and don't ruin it for everyone else at that point. You know, that's fine. It's the throwing bananas at the screen, and that's where you've like sort of crossed the line. I also, though, think that cinemas, hearing about a couple bad egg stories and then putting up signs and banning people to going to see the movie at all, I also think that's very fucking dumb. I think in a world where everyone's talking about how cinema's dead or dying and no one wants to go to movies anymore, and there are people like refusing entry to people because they want to go watch a movie even if it is for a meme, I'm just like, pick your side of the fight. Like, we're trying to like help get people back into the cinema, you're supposed to, like, the idea is to help get, especially since this is mostly younger kids and stuff, like teenagers or whatever, young adults, going to the cinema. They're the people who gives least fucks about the cinema because they've had streaming their entire lives and they're just going through COVID and they're like, what the fuck would I go to the cinema? So yeah, I think banning them is dumb. I think cinemas have the right to do that, of course. Like, if they want to do that, they can. I still think it's dumb. I think the meme is, I don't get it. Well, I get it, like, but it's not something I find particularly that amusing other than just being like, sure, I feel old. But yeah, so I feel like I'm here or there on this. Like, it's a weird one.
Yeah, it's just dumb to me. Just across the board. Why is this a thing? Maybe I'm old, but I am old. But, you know, I mean, it's cool that they made a bunch of money and big kids were going to the cinema. That's a plus. Of course, if you're being a shitty person in the cinema, that's not cool. And like some of the like popcorn messes and like throwing bananas and that kind of stuff, that's like very unnecessary. And like just having your phone out during the cinema. Like, I get upset when I see like people taking screenshots of different things in the movie. That's where I'm saying you need to, if you want to come in, record yourself sitting down, record yourself like doing your little funny poses while the trailer is playing, while the ad's playing, whatever. I don't care. If I was sitting in a cinema and saw some people do that, I'd look at them and go, I don't use a fucking weird, but whatever. Like, you're not bothering me at this stage. It's when, and I still see it, like I'll watch, and that's the thing that, it makes me sound so old. But it's always kids. Like, it is always kids. And they're fucking Snapchatting, like, movies. Like, they're taking pictures of themselves or, like, pictures of the screen. And I've seen them sometimes where they're, like, 2-3 times throughout a movie. Like, I remember, like, the person in front of me watching Top Gun, like, 3-4 times throughout the movie, took a picture of the screen. And you can tell they're just, like, posting on Snapchat, like, oh, my God, Tom Cruise just did this. I'm like,
It is that whole joke. My parents make the joke to me, like, oh, you can't go fucking 10 minutes without using your phone or whatever, because whatever. I'm like, you have no idea. Like, yes, I can. Like, I go entire cinema screenings without using my phone, which apparently in the ballpark of generation is a very long time, because the younger generation cannot go an entire fucking movie without touching their phone and Snapchatting every fucking half an hour, apparently. So,
I wouldn't go past the idea of like going to a cinema that makes you lock up your phone before you can go in.
I'm not against it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not against it.
No, like if you had to pay like a $2 premium, I'm like, that sounds like a good time to me. If I don't have to I take out the chance of being distracted by anybody.
Yeah,
I'm
for this. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm trying to like come off like that sounds old man grumpy.
Yes,
I'm still trying to sound cool by being like, look, kids, do your little memes. Just know where the line is.
Know where the line
memes,
is.
Have fun. I don't care. Just know where the line is. That's all I'm saying.
Then at the other end of the spectrum, I can understand why you would want to, like, if you're having serious problems and like obviously a lot of cleanup, if you're like got bits of banana like all over the place, I can understand that. You know, turn it into a windfall. Do special Gentleminions screenings, you know, where they can come and do like almost like The Room-esque screenings where, you know, they can all react and say dumb shit and like react to the movies or whatever. That kind
Charge
of stuff.
them a premium because you know they're gonna make a mess.
A cleaning premium. Put a bunch of put a bunch of newspaper down. so you can clean up easier and that kind of stuff. Or like sell like fake bananas beforehand and like, you know, plush bananas so you don't have to take real ones in.
I mean, I even saw after the whole banning thing happened, there was like one I saw on TikTok the other day where these dudes like wore jumpers or something and then like took their clothes off when they sat down so that they had the suits on underneath. I was like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah. Do Moody Studios need to worry about these? How much can they read into these sort of crazes, and is there anything they can do to control it?
No, the thing is that movie studios companies for a long time think they can predict stuff like this or create their own like memes like this or like somehow set them up and make them. But the thing is, these sorts of things are just natural, you know? No one can predict this shit. No one's sitting there like, oh yeah, like people are going to dress up in suits and do their weird little gentle minion poses and whatever the hell else, and no one can predict this crap. Do they need to worry about it? No. It's few and far between. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's nothing they can do about it. You know, and I guess these two are different because obviously Minions only just came out, so it was always going to either be positive or not have any effect. Whereas with the Morbius thing, they were kind of relying on these people coming out to justify releasing it. But yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. I mean, we're in a crazy new world where all sorts of different. I mean, all this stuff around Stranger Things in the last week, like all the memes and like different moments and like Metallica playing duets on TikTok or whatever with Eddie and that kind of stuff. Like even like the Eddie Christy wake up thing becoming a big thing. It's like there's no way you can predict anything that's going to happen. It must be a weird position to be in as a like artists or like people making stuff where as soon as you put it out, like anything can happen.
Yep.
Anything is really kind of fair game for anybody to reinterpret it in any way they want. So, what a world we live in. This week, Marvel announced who will be directing Captain America 4. Hollywood Reporter is reporting that Julius Ohana, director of The Cloverfield Paradox, will be helming the first post-Avengers Endgame entry into the popular Captain America series. In a surprise to a lot of people, Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie, will be taking the mantle of Captain America. I don't know. People were actually surprised that this was a fact. Of course, Ohana directed the latest entry in the Cloverfield series 2018 surprise sequel that got released on Netflix after that year's Super Bowl with no fanfare and was routinely criticized and panned. He also directed the 2019 thriller Lucy, a thought-provoking film starring Kelvin Harris Jr., Octavia Spencer, and Naomi Watts, Tim Roth, which was better received by reviewers and audiences. Dylan, are you keen for Captain America 4? Whatever it's called.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I think Sam getting his first proper Captain America run after he, finally took the mantle in at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier is cool. This still enters in the world now where, and this is the thing that's going to consistently happen, I guess, from now on, where we're in these Marvel things where they're announcing things and people are like, what? How the fuck? What? It's it's from a TV show. But guess what? Now, as far as I'm concerned, since they're talking about it, spoilers are off the boat, everyone. At the end of that show, he becomes Captain America officially. But yeah, I mean, I think if they do go the same route they do with his comic book when he is Captain America, I think it'll be interesting. It's good that they've sort of already covered the whole will I won't they, I feel like I'm stepping on Steve's shoes sort of stuff in the show though, so that means you can just get into a seeing him make Captain America his own, instead of having that be the storyline. And by God, now that I've said that, I hope they don't just rewrite, do another version of that same storyline and hit on those same story beats, character beats with him having doubt of himself and stuff, because I'm at that stage, come on. The TV shows are canon, but because you don't trust everyone seeing it, you're just going to redo story beat. That would really piss me off. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm keen for this. I think, that director is not exactly an exciting choice.
No.
And that's
not at all.
Kind of puts me off. I'm a bit, although I have not seen any of his films, so I mean, that's not a very fair thing to say.
Cloverfield Paradox is terrible, so I mean.
That's what I've been led to believe. But, he just directed that. He didn't write it or anything. So, I mean, it could have just been a payday thing. So, but yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's an interesting direction that, that they're going. I mean, I'm trying to think of what directors they've got lined up for their projects at the moment let me have a look. So obviously they just had Taika, they've had Sam Raimi. I mean, they've got obviously Ryan Coogler coming back to do Black Panther. Who's doing? Peyton Reed will be coming back for
Ant-Man and the Quantum Verse or whatever.
Yeah, of course, James Gunn's doing Guardians of the Galaxy. And then they had Nia DaCosta on board as director of The Marvels.
Nia DaCosta's Jordan Peele's The Marvels.
Nia DaCosta, director of Nia DaCosta's Candyman, is on board for The Marvels. Out of the other directors they've got announced, they've got Sean Levy set to direct a Deadpool film. They've got Daniel Destin Cretton coming back for Shang-Chi. Jake Schreier doing the Thunderbolts. I guess he would be equally on the low list of unknown talents. And then Bassem Tariq is the one working on the Blade movie at the moment, who also not exactly. He did Mowgli, that Riz Ahmed movie. But other than that, very small list. But
Marvel's MO is usually taking indie directors and
indie darlings. That's the thing, though.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting. It might just be a thing.
Who directed Marcel with Shoes On? Because they're directing the Avengers. I don't know.
What?
The next Eternals movie is being directed by whoever directed Marcel with Shoes On. There's my bet.
Cool. So it's going to be stop motion animation, characters.
No, I'm just saying the director. I didn't say the same style.
I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, I guess. But yeah, it could just be a change of tact and also indie directors not necessarily feeling like they need to say yes to
Marvel. Because Marvel has to pay them less. That's all it's about.
Yeah. So yeah. Final story, which I found as an interesting quirk and don't necessarily have a lot to say about. Baz Luhrmann's Australia movie is becoming a limited series on Hulu In 2018, Baz Luhrmann co-wrote and directed the film Australia, starring Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman. Set in 1939 and 1942, it's the story of Lady Sarah Ashley, whose husband owns a cattle ranch named Faraway Downs in Australia. She travels there from England to get him to sell their failing ranch, but gets caught up in a plot to take the ranch and murder her husband before falling in love with the drover and creating a family with him, all while having their lives changed forever by World War II. That is now set to be a limited series called Faraway Downs, which is set to be a 6-part series that will run on Hulu in the US and Disney Plus and Star overseas. What's interesting here is it's not going to be reshot. There will be footage that was shot for the original film with a new ending and updated soundtrack. Dylan, as someone who previously stated has not watched Australia, would you watch Faraway Downs?
Can confirm I have not watched Australia, and no, I'd prefer to just watch the movie.
Okay. I know.
It must have done well in America, right? I feel like surely maybe the movie did well in America.
I don't know. I don't know why. This is a thing. Other than it could be a thing. They're like, hey, Quentin Tarantino's thing where he splits his things into series, that's worked out pretty well. Let's just do that with whatever movies we currently can. The movie is done. I believe
he released
Disney
a novel.
Released it. So why not? I guess if the footage is there, might as well reuse it. This just seems like a weird thing. Maybe they lost the rights to the name Australia, so they're not allowed to. They had to find another way to. I don't know.
They're not the only people should lose some rights in Australia. You know what I mean?
Wow. Let's move on before Dylan elaborates on that anymore. Let's move into this week's edition of Thumbs for Trailers. Of course, you can find all of the trailers we're about to talk about in the show notes below. Let's kick things off with our first trailer. The Rehearsal, directed by Nathan Fielder, starring Nathan Fielder. Nathan Fielder returns to television for a new series that explores the lengths that one man will go to reduce the uncertainties of everyday life. With a construction crew, a legion of actors, and seemingly unlimited resources, Fielder allows ordinary people to prepare for life's biggest moments by rehearsing them in carefully crafted simulations of his own design, when a single misstep could shatter your entire world. Why leave life to chance? Dylan, did you ever watch Nathan For You?
I don't believe I have, and if I have, it's been like a clip and I don't even know about it, so no, I do not.
Because this is a show not popular, but very well regarded, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it over the years, in which he creatively helps different businesses with crazy marketing stunts or whatever. So this is a return to making a television show. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for The Rehearsal?
Wild. It doesn't seem real, really, but apparently it is. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird one. I definitely want to watch it. So I'm going double thumbs up because I was watching the trailer like, yep, okay, that's a turn. And then as the trailer continued to go on, I'm like, do I feel sorry? I'm like, I feel sorry for someone here, but I'm not sure who it is. Is it myself? I don't know. But yeah, double thumbs up. I really want to watch it. I have no fucking clue what and how and where exactly it's going and what the point is to a degree, but I want to watch it.
All right. I'm also giving it 2 thumbs up. I think it's definitely an intriguing concept. I think it's revealed in Larry of interesting, dry wit kind of humor that I can get on board with. It feels like they're bringing Synecdoche, New York to life. Of course, at the what's his name?
Do you mean the actor Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Well, Seymour Hoffman, but I was thinking the director / writer.
Andy Kaufman.
No, not Andy Kaufman, but
damn it!
It sounds like Andy Kaufman. I think it's Charlie Kaufman, right?
Yeah, you'll be able to find out. So.
Yes, Charlie Kaufman is the director, so you're close. He made that movie in which Philip Seymour Hoffman starts directing a play that imitates life, and then that becomes much bigger and becomes like a almost performance piece inside a giant warehouse in which he's directing somebody who's directing somebody who's directing somebody.
How do you pronounce that film?
I have no idea.
I've always said I've always been like
I've been-
Sindokine.
Seen mumble, New York.
New York. Yep.
So yeah, 2 thumbs up. I've got The Rehearsal coming to Binge and Foxtel on the 17th of July. So
That's soon.
that's pretty. Oh, 16th of July. Sorry,
That's even sooner.
that is technically even sooner.
That's this week.
It is. So look forward to us discussing the first episode, probably next episode. Next trailer. 13 Lives, directed by Ron Howard, starring Viggo Mortensen, Colin Farrell, and Joel Edgerton. A rescue mission is assembled in Thailand where a group of young boys and their soccer coach are trapped in a system of underground caves that are flooding. Dylan, what do you think of this trailer for the live-action, the adaptation of the events of the Thailand cave rescue?
Yeah, it looks really good. I really like the cast and everyone. I think that's what's going to up this from being a telemovie dramatization of the events, which I feel like a lot of these sorts of movies usually feel like, if they're done badly or average, they just feel like, like subpar TV movies. But I think the credibility of Ron Howard, the skill and credibility of Ron Howard alongside a top tier acting team involved in this, which of course there's a bunch of really like top tier talent involved in this film, makes the whole thing look really good to me, and I'm intrigued. Of course, read about everything that happened when it was happening, but if this is, I just want to see like a straight up no bullshit movie. I don't want any over the top changing of details. I'd prefer it just to be like it is as it happened. That's the way I'd like this sort of movie. But yeah, who's going to play Elon Musk? And
That's the question.
That's
Who's going to play
question. Who's going to play the person he accuses?
who accused of being a pedophile? Yeah.
And to clarify, he was totally wrong. But
Shocking.
shocking.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one up, one down.
Oh, I forgot. I'm going one up, one down as well. Yeah.
Oh,
Trailer's
okay.
fine, but sorry, I forgot to write.
Yeah, it looks fine. What this actually did was make me more keen to watch the documentary, The Rescue, which is on Disney Plus. So I might do that in the next couple of days. But yeah, I mean, it looks interesting. It looks like, as someone who does not know all the facts,
No.
I don't know what they're alluding to doing in the end of the film or how the actual rescue is going to take place.
Giant vacuum. Suck all the water out.
Oh, that's the plan. They're diving in to suck all the water out. They just get a giant straw and then
giant straw.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I feel like, there's definitely an element that you go, is Ron Howard the best person to tell this story?
No, he's not. But he's still a fine. he's the way I describe Ron Howard as a director is he is so good at just like making
Stuff.
like film school, beaten path movies. Like he doesn't have a great creative flair, but he's also not bad at directing. Like I feel like all of his movies they're just like he went to film school, he studied the books, and all of his movies are at least above board, if that makes sense. But he just doesn't have a great creative.
Possible.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Ron Howard.
Yeah. I guess the question is Ron Howard the most appropriate person to direct this movie?
Nah, still no.
Yeah. So this one is coming to Amazon Prime on the 5th of August, and also I assume playing in limited theaters in the US. Next trailer, The Resorts, created by Andy Ciara, starring William Jackson Harper, Kristen Milotti, Luis Gerardo Mendez, Nina Bloomberg, Nick Offerman, Gabriella Cartol, Noah Emma, and vacation into the Mayan Riviera on the Oceania Vista Resort for their 10th anniversary. Noah has been content with life, whereas Emma feels like their marriage isn't advancing. They are then pulled into an unsolved mystery of 2 missing persons from 15 years ago, which tests the resolve of their marriage. Dylan, what do you think of the trailer for The Resort?
Double thumbs up. Looks really good. I'm down for I love a good hotel mystery. I don't know if that's a genre, but it is now. Cast is great. Mystery looks intriguing. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Double thumbs up. Keen to watch it. Give it to me.
Yeah, this is 2 thumbs up for me as well. Of course, big fan of Kristen Milotti. Big fan of William Jackson Harper. It's interesting that they're doing this project for Peacock on the back of they're both recently finished a project for Peacock, I believe. Like, he was in Love Life, which was done through Peacock, and she just did Made for Love, which was through Peacock. So now they've come together to form this super team in this show. Apparently from the people who did Palm Springs, so I mean, got me on board there. Some crazy hotel mystery. Hotels apparently being a big push in the last year or two. Lots of shows revolving around hotels and resorts. But yeah, this looks interesting. And mysteries. I'm intrigued to find out how she found out that that phone from 15 years ago, which has apparently just been sitting in the jungle.
Selfie on it.
But the battery would have been like long dead if it was 15 years old.
Charge it. SD card into the computer.
Okay, maybe. I can
There's
believe.
ways. There's ways.
There's ways, but we'll see. Even that's like a bit of a stretch because, rain. But
on the back
whatever.
It says, "Hey, my name's so and so, and if you find this phone in the middle of the jungle, I probably died X amount of years ago."
That's probably it. That's
plausible.
Everything. Yeah. So this is 2 thumbs up from me. This is coming to Stan on 29th. Yeah, it's coming to Stan on the 29th of July. So check it out there. Next up, we've got See How They Run, directed by Tom George, starring Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, Adrian Brody, Ruth Wilson, Reece Shearsmith, Harris Dickinson, and David Oyelowo. A desperate Hollywood film producer sets out to turn a popular play into a film. When members of the production are murdered, world-weary Inspector Stoppard and rookie Constable Stalker find themselves in the midst of a puzzling whodunit. Dylan, what do you think of See How They Run?
Double thumbs up for this Wes Anderson looking shit right here. All about it. Can't wait. Love the star. Love the cast. Love the mystery again. Love a good murder mystery. Not in a hotel, but it's fine. Movie set. Boring.
It's a play set.
Sorry, play set. Theater.
It's a theater.
It's a murder at a theater. The cast looks great. Comedy's very great. I love the continuing bits throughout the trailers of her just just jumping ahead about 25 different steps so the case is solved and this person did it and whatever else, and having to be constantly wound back. So that's quite funny. Totally it looks quite funny, and that's why I was getting the Wes Anderson vibes, and even the way the trailer's edited and stuff like that. So double thumbs up. I think this looks really good.
Yeah, I was surprised by this. Like, I watched it a week ago or something. I was like, damn, this is like really cool. This is like, I know this to a certain degree, it feels like it's influenced by Knives Out and like that kind of murder mystery. But it's got more of that, like, I guess, like you said, Wes Anderson, like over the top comedic tone to it. Saoirse Ronan gets to do a natural accent. Showing her comedic chops. Of course, Sam Rockwell's great in everything he's in. I'm excited to find out who's the killer and how they run. Like, what are the crazy conclusions she jumps to?
It's also just funny, like how it plays into real life events, because it's not based on true story, but the setting is true, and do you know the background for so they're doing it's Mousetrap. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Mousetrap is like the play. It's Agatha. So it's this Agatha Christie play that she signed and said that no one could ever turn into a movie, or no one's allowed to film in there or anything like this, and they've been performing it for X amount of years. It's like this very famous play because of these reasons, and you can only see it by going to wherever it plays. I can't remember the exact location, but wherever it is where it plays, that's the only place you can see it. No one ever does. You can't. There's no movie version of it. It's very creative for this play setting, and that's where it is, to the point that also the actor mentioned in it is what's his fuck who's in Jurassic Park, Richard Attenborough, who was the original. He did a big run on that play. So there's some added trivia for the movie that makes it quite interesting.
Yeah, it does.
There you go.
So yes, 2 thumbs up from me. This is coming to cinemas September 29th. Alright, last trailer for this week. The Woman King, directed by Gina Price Brightwood, starring Viola Davis, Thusu Bemdu, Lashana Lynch, Sheila Atim, Hiro Finis, Tiffin, and John Boyega. The Woman King is the remarkable story of the Agoji, the all-female unit of warriors who protected the African kingdom of Dahomey in the 1800s with skill and fierceness unlike anything the world has ever seen. Inspired by true events, The Woman King follows the emotional epic journey of General Deniska as she trains the next generation of recruits and readies them for battle against an enemy determined to destroy their way of life. Dylan, what do you think of The Woman King?
Tense trailer. Really cool though. Double thumbs up. Didn't know anything about this one. This was one of the 2 trailers I had to watch prior to recording that I hadn't already and seen. But yeah, no, really, really cool trailer. Love the cast. A lot of talent within the walls here. I'm hoping that the movie has a little bit of, and I'm not asking for much, but I really would like, I want the violence to be there. That's the only thing I'm like, that I can't tell from the trailer. And I don't mean like, I don't need like over the top gore, but sometimes I hate when they make these historically like big
You don't
events,
want it to be
like,
PG.
Yeah, I don't want it to be PG. I think it just takes away from sometimes the brutality of this era and like, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. So, but yeah, no, I'm totally down to watch, a bunch of fucking white invaders get their ass kicked. Sounds great. Which is what I believe.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, like I don't.
I've given this 2 thumbs up as well. I think it looks great. I think it's kind of like Viola Davis went, hey, you didn't cast me in Black Panther? Well, fuck you then. And like, I'm going to make my own.
Well, the thing I was thinking, I didn't want to say Black Panther because it makes me, now that you've said it, I can.
It's a little bit.
It's not the movie itself, but it was making me think, so like a big, the female, like having a giant female guard or like superhuman strong team. It made me actually go, was Black Panther inspired by, because these are real people.
I assume
like
so,
true
yeah.
friends. So now in retrospect, watching this trailer, I'm like,
It's
maybe
Black
those
Panther
characters
prequel.
in Black Panther were inspired by these real people, and I didn't know that.
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it's becoming a thing. Looks fantastic. Like you said, hopefully it's like at least a little bit violent. Viola Davis looks amazing. Lashana Lynch looks fantastic as well, and like kind of unrecognizable for that. It wasn't until the second watch of that trailer that I noticed it was Lashana Lynch. So, but yeah, looks great. My only critique for this trailer, which I'm going to give 2 thumbs up, don't love the text. I would have gone with a different font.
Yeah.
I don't think it looks very good. But yeah, that's The Woman King. It is coming to cinemas on the 13th of October. So look forward to that later in the year. All right, let's wrap up this week's episode of What Do You Want to Watch with our What Do You Want to Watch top 3.
Definitely in the top 3.
And in the next 24 hours after release of this episode, this year's Emmy Award nominations will be announced. So this week's top 3 is top 3 Emmy nominations we hope for. Now, Dylan, I've given you the distinct honor of doing 4 nominations top 4 this week. Because
Even though, yes, I did do
for
4.
no particular
Even though
reason.
When I read your comment, I was like, you fucking piece of shit. But I did do 4, yes.
All right. So, Dylan, what is your number 4?
Number 4 on my list of... Yeah, we could pick any category and everything. That was the thing,
Anything.
right? Yeah.
Any nominations? Any
nominations that we want to see happen at the Emmys. Number 4 is... I want Zendaya to get nominated for Best Actress Drama. Number 4 on my
Okay.
list. It's not predictions, right? It's just what we want. Yeah.
It's what you want.
Yeah, so I want Zendaya. That's probably my safest want out of this whole list, but I still think happy for her to go for another one. At least a nomination. So
I think she's currently the favorite, so I think that's probably pretty.
So it's probably my safest want, but I still because the want.
You just put it out there.
Just putting it out there.
What if everybody doesn't vote for it? Then it's not going to get it in.
True. That's right.
So
for Euphoria,
right.
in case I can't
From
remember
Euphoria,
yes.
My number 3 is the After Party to get a best comedy nomination. I think After Party, the show on Apple TV Plus about a murder at an after party. I think it's super fantastic, super well written. I would be okay if they just got, some minor like comedy writing or directing, or like Ben Schwartz gets a supporting nomination or Sam Richardson for lead. That would be cool. But yes, I would love to see the After Party get some love at this year's Emmys. Dylan, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Christina Ricci. Get a nomination for Best Supporting Actress for Yellow Jackets. She's like a standout part of that show. Really interesting character. One of the best performances. Sort of I wouldn't say comeback, because it's not like she hasn't been acting, but I definitely feel like it definitely feels like a role that's sort of career refueling. Let's call it for her. So yeah, go for that supporting actress nom.
My number 2, Severance for Best Drama. I think it's pretty likely. It's a fantastic show, but the Best Drama category is stacked this year, with a lot of old shows that coming to the end and that kind of stuff. So it might be a little bit difficult to break through, but yeah, I would love to see Severance get some love. I would love to see that last episode get Best Directing and Best Writing. John Turturro to get Best Supporting. Yeah, I'd love to get some Severance love at the Emmys this year. Dylan, what is your number 2?
Number 2, Best Supporting Actress nomination for Sydney Sweeney for Euphoria.
I should have known.
One I began tweeting about earlier this year. One of my 2 top snubs that everyone should be. I'm on two hashtags this year, so this is number 2. Of course, my number 1 hashtag most people should know, and that's coming up in a second. But my number 2 hashtag is hashtag Sydney Sweeney, Best Supporting Actress nomination for Euphoria. She was fantastic this season. Absolutely showed she's got some acting chops up her sleeve for sure.
All right. And my number 1 is Matthew Good from The Offer getting a nomination for Best Supporting Actor in a limited series or TV movie. His portrayal of Bob Evans is like the reason to watch The Offer, the show that's about the making of The Godfather. He's fantastic. He's super watchable every single scene he's in. Completely different to what he is in how he sounds in real life. So I think I would love to see him get a nomination, but this one's probably the most unlikely one out of all my ones. Dylan, what is your number 1?
My number 1 is the Emmys should nominate and then proceed to give the award for Best Actress to Ray Seahorn for Better Call Saul. And if they don't, if she doesn't even get fucking nominated this year, oh boy.
Wait, is she Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress?
Best Actress. She's the lead actress. Right? So it should be Best Actress.
So you want her over Zendaya?
Yes. Nominate them both.
Just clarifying.
Nominate them both. Right? There's more than one nominee. And Ray wins. Best Actress.
Is that
the character of Kim Wexler for Better Call Saul, which is back this week, baby, in its final season. Let's go. I've been on this fucking hashtag for the length of this fucking podcast.
I think she's in the drama supporting category.
Whatever.
But,
just somewhere.
But what you're saying is give her a nomination, give her an Emmy.
It's the last year. I can't handle this shit. This absolute ruse of an award ceremony. Year in, year out.
What is it from Friday Night Lights? Give her the Kyle Chandler Emmy.
Sure, yeah. give it. I didn't realize that's what it's called, but
that's what I think of. A person getting the award for their final season, but really it's a cumulative award. Don't snub her forever like you did John Hamm, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's the last season of Better Call Saul, and the show's not won anything. So, I mean, if Better Call Saul won anything, I'd be happy, but give it to Ray.
All right. Let us know what Emmy nominations you're hoping for by going to explosion.com/Twitter, or you can jump into our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at What Do You Want to Watch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. Anywhere can leave 5 stars. Or just tell people about the show and Dylan's obsession with Rhea Seehorn getting an Emmy nomination. I don't know what he's going to do if she doesn't.
Gonna write an angry letter to the editor.
Which editor?
You know, the editor.
All right. If you like this episode, thought it was worth it, I'll head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.